Good morning, guys, and welcome to Planet Beer TV, and it is Stoutzilla Day, and we are down at Unbarred Brewery in Brighton, and we're sat here with Jordan, the founder. How you doing?
Good, mate. Thanks for coming down, guys.
Thanks for having us down. This is one that we've had in the calendar for some time, and yeah, we're really excited.
And it's breakfast time, and we're drinking 10% beers, and this is a great day.
Quality control. It's essential.
I suppose first and foremost, let's kind of go through Unbarred. Just give us a background of Unbarred before we delve into...
Yeah, sure. Unbarred was first registered as Hove's first nano brewery back in 2014. So next year is technically Unbarred's 10th anniversary. So quite a big one next year in that sense. But yeah, I was home brewing for quite a while, getting obsessed. There wasn't as much of a community and much of online support as you can get now. So a lot of it was trial and error, and I just got absolutely obsessed with the process. Sitting up at night or waking in the morning, having to write notes down, challenging what beer is and what could be different about beer. And the first wave of American craft beer was coming over, so I had an impression of what I thought English real ale was, and that was our version of craft beer, and not many places serving it well, so didn't have a great representation at the time. And then you got Sierra Nevada's coming over, Dogfish Head coming over, and online programs in the States talking about beer, and it was just so exciting for me, and that was it, just ultra focused on what beer is. So then I left my well-paid job in water engineering to become a brewer and nothing, and did what it took. And then not long after, I was promoted to head brewer. Then I went to the Institute of Brewing and Distilling, got qualified. I was still brewing on the kit Unbarred, so it's all been part-time for this duration.
So you're brewing from your shed at home?
Still brewing from the sheds. So I'd go brew, and on the way home, I'd set the Wi-Fi to set the heating element on, so the hot liquor tank was ready for me when I got home, and then mashing in the evening and continue. And then delivering out the back of a car to local places in bottles. And from there, I got headhunted to go to what was going to be a homebrew school, built them up to a commercial level, and then I was brewing for other people to earn enough money to brew a bit of Unbarred into their tanks. And then in 2019, I joined with my two partners, Dav and Rupert, and we got this place, centre of Brighton.
This is the first venue?
So this is actually the first venue, 2019. So as a full-time business job, it's 2019, and then 6 months later, COVID hit. So yeah, it's been a journey, but we're still here and still pushing.
And going strong, strength to strength, really.
Yeah, this place where, as you can see, we are maxed out for space. We're looking to even convert kegs into seats, so we got some more storage space. We're really tight, but we got fortunately a lot of love. The tap room's constantly full. We sell out a beer in summer every year now. So yeah, we got more to go for, more ideas and things we want to do, but we need a bigger boat now.
Yeah, you seem to have a lot of nice problems to have, I think.
Good problems, but they're problems. Yeah.
Do you think you will move venue, or will you look at basically doing a second?
A second would be the ideal solution. To have any commercial space 5 minutes near Brighton Station is not happening anymore. You know, even through the last few years, that giant block of flats, 16 floors, I think it is, that wasn't there when we opened up. That was all commercial, and just everything in the centre of town is flats now.
Quite daunting, isn't it, really?
It's a big change, yeah. The landscape's changing a lot. We got what was on the way out of Brighton is now called the North Brighton sector, and that's all flats as well. So commercial space in Brighton is particularly hard, but on the side of all our cans and something we live to, our ethos is made of Brighton. It's a culture, it's an ethos. and something we live by. So if we can keep this site, whether this becomes more of tasting, tap room, barrel aging projects, maybe some produce, and then we have an actual facility that can deal with capacity outside of Brighton, then hopefully we can continue the story that way.
Yeah, that'd be the dream. Yeah, and I feel you're paying with the residential gentrification of city centres. It's happening everywhere.
It's happening everywhere. Yeah,
it's happening everywhere. But anyway, that's a different.
But the other thing with us, we got the sea at one side.
Yeah.
So we can't move. There's only one direction you can go.
remove.
And our customers only come south. Like not many people coming over from France, but
so far. But cool. But we're here for the main event, really.
The Black Friday, everyone's calling it Black Friday due to the beast Stoutzilla.
I haven't even put those two together. What a missed opportunity.
Yeah, it's really lovely. Everyone's getting on board with the release of Stoutzilla today. Yeah.
Black Friday.
So tell us a little bit about what we've got in front of us then.
Wow. Yeah, you've got a lovely range here. So it's lovely to look back on. So the bottle you've got and the beautiful story behind that is from the sheds.
This is version 1.
This is version 1. This is 3x4 meter sheds. This is what my first attempt at Stoutzilla of making something indulgent, full-bodied, winter, and all the indulgent characters which we'll go into. What makes Stoutzilla. And then I've even got a picture somewhere. My wife, pregnant at the time, you can see her bump, helping me hand bottle this beer. So my first son, Jago, he's 7 years old now. So on his 18th, technically, he'll have a bottle that we both made for his 18th birthday.
Can we come?
It's probably going to taste awful by then, to be honest. It ages better than other styles, obviously stouts, but it's more of the story and the romance behind it. Yeah. So it's got a lot of heritage from my brewing career and Unbarred. So that was a homebrew that was never released as Stoutzilla at the time. And then we go on to when I was contract brewing this can here, and that was me brewing on someone else's kit, and that's my first attempt to upscale this.
What year was this then? Where are we in the story?
19, maybe 18, 19. And that was working with my good friend Paul Jackson, who is an incredible artist. So Brighton mate, grew up with, wonderful creative, was in a hardcore metal band as a drummer, and is now a creative genius doing some really surreal artwork, lots of sci-fi stuff, lots of hand-drawn. He painstakingly, when I told him the idea of what this is, it's a stout, but it's bigger, it's more indulgent. And then with Tom Lacey, who is our graphic designer, who is also doing extremely well in his fields, but fortunately is still a shareholder and does a lot of our design. Together sort of came up with the name Stoutzilla. And then this is over a beer and the idea is evolving, right? He's going through Brighton, or she. Stoutzilla's genderless officially. Between us, we've not given Stoutzilla a gender. But they, should I say, are smashing up Brighton. Most locals aren't big fans of the i360, so the i360 is getting smashed down. And then there's the wheel, which we had for a while, and people say, "Oh, it's out of date now. There's no wheel." Well, Stoutzilla ripped it down.
Yep.
So it's not there anymore.
The origin story.
Yeah,
That's just facts.
And then you can see it evolved to 2020. We have released it. So this is still our grid style can. And then the last ones between this year's 21, 22 was fairly similar design. The grids dropped back a little bit there and just modernized. And now we are up to the smaller 330ml cans. And we had to make a choice on 330ml cans. We also had the bottle barrel aged version, 750ml. And there's quite a few reasons. I mean, the first massive one is beer duty this year has tripled on anything over 8.5%. Yep. So we're happy to produce it, and we're happy to produce it knowing this isn't a money turner. This is a passion project that for us as a brand, as Unbarred, we have to keep doing this. But if we were to serve this in 440 ml cans, by the time the end customer gets it from sales to distributor or to bottle shop direct to, you'd be paying a crazy amount of money, and we want everyone to have the opportunity to try it. The other thing with the bottles, we've upset some people, including myself. You've got every year bottle and you want to continue.
Yep.
One to drink, one to store.
Yep.
Glass has shot up with supply and demand in price, and we were told it's going to be going up 200% for next year. So get your last pallets of it, because next year we'll be tripling that. So if you're double or tripling the glass, you're tripling the duty, and we're limited on the amount of pure alcohol we should be making, or all of our duty goes up. So we got the barrel age, which is in a can, 330 ml now, which are reasonably priced, but the beauty of that is you're more likely to open it up in the week and actually drink it, rather than lots of people have stored it. And drinking something a year or two later, it will change, but it's actually better within that first year, in my opinion. And we've tried all of these over the years, and we've tried them. Drinking it within that first year or two is its best, man.
Yeah, because I mean, ultimately, you're making something and you're releasing it when you're happy with it. So it would make sense that that's the intended kind of beer. And obviously, any aging that kind of goes on is just kind of like, well, it's a bit of novelty, isn't it?
So you're going to get in the barrels, you're going to get change and nuance, and we change that, taste it a lot and regularly. And we use different barrels this year. These were Buffalo Trace still, but it was the rye version, which you can taste the difference in the barrel. But once it's packaged, you're not picking up any new flavors. The wood gives you flavors, you've got oxygen pickup. You just have a tiniest bit of oxygen, and our job's to put no oxygen in the can. That starts a chemical reaction, and the beer's not going to get better, in my opinion.
Yeah, so this year we have Stoutzilla, the original. We have Stoutzilla barrel aged, and for the first time, I believe, you're not going to get this in cans and bottles, unfortunately. So unless you're here, you're not going to try it. Yeah, we got a short run nitro pour.
Nitro pour, which
you've just given us a little preview of, which was brilliant. Unreal good.
It's silly. We've done our first go at nitro stouts this year. As Unbarred, I've worked with it before, but really happy with the process. But this is literally a 20-litre keg of the Imperial barrel-aged nitro stout version. So it's 11%, and it just adds even more thickness.
Oh, it's creamy as
unctuousness.
Oh, man, yeah. So talk us through then, obviously at home, hopefully you've got your can or bottle of Stoutzilla and you are cracking it open and having a sip, but talk us through the wanky taste notes about how, you know, what should we be getting here?
Yeah, so the concept for the can was to try and recreate the barrel age effects, and to create indulgence and winter warmer, all the things that are good. So we've got from the mash a mixture of chocolate and cocoa nibs, chocolate malt, and cocoa nibs. So and we also use a bit of the outer husk of cocoa nibs as a byproduct. Can't be used in chocolate, doesn't melt down into the product, so we use a bit of that in the mash tun as well. So that's where you get in chocolate, your first luxury product there. And then we build that up with a chocolate tincture that we make ourselves as well at the end, by steeping cocoa nibs in high alcohol. So they're the like little fine balancing notes, which will sit on the bar, and we'll have like 20 glasses of different increments of these, and just fine tune that fine detail. And that's quite often early in the morning, and we need to get a break, have something to eat, come back after lunch.
That's what we're going to refocus.
Yeah, which we're all going to do, because it's going to be a big night tonight as it is. I mean, so that's just the journey on the chocolate there. We condition on Madagascan bourbon, vanilla. That gives more of an enhancement, and with the barrel characteristics of the bourbon whiskey. We cold steep coffee from a local roaster. This year we used Milkshed. I think last few years we used Milkshed down the road, local roasters. And if you cold steep coffee, you get more of the fruitiness and less of the rich coffee flavour, if you know
I
what I mean.
think
That roasty.
That's the overwhelming thing I get from Stoutzilla, I think. And I'm not saying this to blow smoke up your ass. I'm on
No, go
record
for
by saying Stoutzilla is probably my favourite imperial stout
Oh, thank you.
of all time. And I think all those things you just mentioned, the chocolate, the vanilla, the bourbon, the coffee in particular, that they're clearly there. Chocolates, I think, well, I get the most, and the cocoa nibs explains that, I think. But those subtle, as you say, just those subtle increments of all those flavours just blend together so well, and there's not one domineering flavour.
Oh, amazing!
And it blends really well. So I'm quite happy to drink this at where we are 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning at this stage. It's basically breakfast. Let's be honest.
It is breakfast. It is a breakfast stout at heart, and I think that's probably the closest stout I could pair it to at the time when I made the first one. Was a cross between a Russian Imperial and a breakfast stout. There wasn't any, other names for stouts really at the time. And yeah, thank you. I mean, the last bit is the bourbon, where we age oak from the barrels into bourbon, and we warm that up and cool that down to create the effects of barrel aging, where those temperatures extract and put into the wood, so you're getting that oaky flavour. And that's, again, another tincture that we play with at the end to get that balance. So for me, a huge compliment to say that you can actually pick up that, because that's something it's not just there's a recipe, pump it out the same as last year. All the team get involved, or whoever's wanting to drink at that time, and we all put our input in what we're picking up. And the concept is, with all big beers, to still have a sense of sessionability. And I know it's not a session, I wouldn't advise anyone to buy a pint of this, but it has to be smooth, drinkable, and you should be able to pick up flavours, not like punch in the face with one. We've done our job.
Well, that makes sense, actually, because I've noticed that it's been 10% all the way through, ever since you started brewing it through to the modern day batch. Obviously, a lot of imperial stouts these days would be hitting that kind of 13% mark. So there's your aim there for that almost imperial strength sessionability explains why you've just hit the double digits, but you're not really, even though you probably could if you wanted to, you're not really too bothered about pushing it up and up.
Not at the moment, no. And I agree. And the first one was 8.7 there, and I think I did an 8.71, and arguably Russian Imperial, if you follow BCP guidelines, it's 8.5 means it's Imperial. It can't be lower. If you're following that and had a few, it's not Imperial at this ABV, it's not Imperial. And basically, the journey is exactly what you said. Hitting that 10, you're getting all the characteristics, but it's still drinkable and it opens up. When it goes further over, I think it's almost should be a separate category, because you're going much further into the tar, the really dark fruits, and which are wonderful on their own, but we just wanted it to feel a little bit more like a drinkable.
Yeah, I mean, it's like thick, but it doesn't necessarily leave oily, like black oil on the side of your glass as you swirl it around. I mean, it still clings, but I mean, I've still got a bottle from last year of Tartarus's Abaddon, 17%. Because it's 17%, even though it's only a 330ml bottle, I haven't had the balls to go and open it.
It just sits there, doesn't it? Yeah.
When do you drink it?
Yeah. When's it happening? Yeah.
The only time you drink beers like that, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and you've been drinking it all day, right? And that's the last time you should be drinking it.
You come down in the morning and go, shit, we drank that. I can't remember drinking it, and you've been saving it for so long. But that's the good time to do it, isn't it?
I've got a question for you, John, and you might not be able to answer it. But if we were, I'm not saying we're going to do this, but if we were to open this, what would the differences be in taste?
Today, as they've aged, I think the body's increased a little bit each time as I've understood the aging of it and just working on that mouthfeel and the flavour. So you'll notice, I think it's a slight increase in body as we've gone on. And I think you'll get some more raisiny plum notes picking up on the older ones as it's aged. Partly with the malts, but also partly that I would expect the tiniest amount of some oxidization working with those malts, which will happen with all all beers over that period of time. So I think you'll get, yeah, slightly more raisy. Maybe some of the chocolate notes starting to drop off a little bit. But some whiskey there still present as well, I think.
Would you expect the ABV to be the same, or is it a myth that it kind of increases in ABV as it ages, or is that?
So you're increasing ABV in barrel because you have room for evaporation. In a can, there's nowhere for it to go. So if it's still carbonating and the can's exploding, there's some yeast still eating those sugars and you're getting more alcohol. But yeah, I'm very happy that none of these are due to explode.
Aren't they?
I mean, the fact that you can stand this one up and it hasn't domed at the bottom.
Yeah, we know that one. I mean, we know that with some fresh beers we buy as well. They're just about to explode. So no, I think they've held the time on that.
And if that was fresh,
Yep.
Imagine we got a time machine. We come back, brought this back, and we cracked these two open.
Yeah.
Are we going to taste radical differences in the two, or have you been pretty consistent with your recipe?
Not radical. A different coffee. It was from a different producer, which had different high notes. So very subtle, but very similar volumes. And again, bodies increased slightly since then as well.
But recipe-wise,
yeah,
quantity-wise, in the ingredients, you'd be pretty consistent by the sounds of it. Then.
Pretty much.
You're just tweaking it based on the ingredients you have
Details.
available to you that year, yeah?
And it might be only the brewery team and a few diehards that will pick it up and tell us, but that's so great when they do.
Right, so we're in a bit of a privileged situation here. So Jordan has really kindly bought out one of the original bottles of Stoutzilla before it was even named Stoutzilla. So this is the first batch. You did it back in 2014, is that what you said? 2015?
My son is 7/16.
2016. So this is a 2016 Stoutzilla, the original. Have you ever tried the bottle version?
I've only tried one. I've only opened one bottle since then. This is the second bottle I'll open.
Right, so we're going to try this on, we're going to try this on camera.
Yeah.
I guess we're going to do a comparison with the modern day Stoutzilla.
I mean, it's going to get a beating.
It's totally unfair, but
It's
but this is great. I mean, this is such a nice thing to share with you.
So I was back then as well. I was bottle conditioning. Had open top fermenters or non-pressurable fermenters. So I'm just trying to see if there's much there. It hasn't exploded, so I didn't overcarbonate it. The bigger the ABV, the harder it is to naturally condition yeast. It's such a toxic environment for the use of high alcohol. So
are we expecting this to be
I'm trying to get
around 10% or?
No, this was about 8.5 to 9% back then.
Okay.
I wonder if I can get a hiss on the mic.
God.
Oh yeah. Good.
See if I can get that pop on the mic if there is one. There is.
Hey.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, that's perfectly
Hey, look at
conditioned.
that.
I'm happy with that.
You know what you're doing, don't you?
Like I said, this is my first go back then.
I'm gonna.
But there's
We should,
plenty
yeah,
of
we
film
should
this.
should get this on film. Yeah.
crikey. There's lots of.
Look at this.
It's pretty lively actually. So slightly lighter in colour, I can see, but you still got a nice tanned head on there.
Yeah. Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Cool.
You've almost got like a Belgian double kind of colour to that.
Oh, I did do Stoutzilla on a Trappist yeast one year.
Could it be this
Sometimes
one?
we like
Don't
a
think it was this
broken
one.
clock. Sometimes we write twice today, you know.
I mean, immediately the aroma on that one is punching through.
Blimey, it's boozy.
That smells like
Booze. Booze, plums, raisins.
sherry almost.
There's a sherry
yeah.
note there for sure. I didn't use as much oats back then as well. Some expensive.
Wowzer.
But that's pretty dark. Cheers, guys.
Yeah,
Cheers.
cheers.
Thank you for sharing.
No,
That's excellent.
Thank you for
Here goes. We're
sharing
going
the
in.
love.
My God, that's a big smell.
That holds up. That's
7
really,
years. I'm bloody happy with that.
that's
Actually.
really good.
That tastes like a beer at your 13%, your 14%.
Yeah.
That is huge.
That's very Belgian.
It's very Belgian, isn't it?
What was the spirit barrels you're using on this one?
So this would have been what I could get my hands on as a home brewer in oak chunks.
Right.
So it would have been bourbon barrels if I could get hold of it. I'm sure it was bourbon barrels that I.
It's intensely
yeah.
boozy.
And then I would have steeped them in bourbon back then and then poured the bourbon in with the beer.
Oh,
But the mouthfeel's pretty. I mean, it's
man.
with the carbonation, it's just like a Belgian quadruple, isn't it?
And it smells just so raisiny. I mean, for me, that just smells like a pack of raisins.
I mean, you've got to be happy with that. Just
I'm
from
really
a look perspective.
I'm much happier than I thought it was going to hold up. I mean, considering the how far I was in my brewing career back then.
Just what was it, 11 more years to go now?
Yeah,
for your son to try it.
I'll see how it's holding for Jago.
As a side by side, that's a really, really good beer. But the refinement between that and that is, I guess, where the skill of Stoutzilla comes from, your skill as a brewer as well. But what puts me off with a lot of bigger stouts is especially barrel-aged stouts, is the boozy nature of it.
Yeah.
You know, especially when you're dealing with whiskies and bourbons and stuff like that. It's most times for me, that just overpowers it completely.
Almost astringent,
Almost astringent. But the subtle notes of that in the modern Stoutzilla is, I think, why that holds up as one of the true great craft beers.
Thank you. Well,
of our generation, really.
One of our little tricks for that is to actually use an English yeast that we ferment extremely low.
Right.
So we ferment it at a really low temperature, which then helps keep some of the alcohol notes right down. If you ferment really warm and fast, which I appreciate, some people are thinking, well, there's a lot of alcohol, we really need to rip through this one, otherwise it will stall, and we have had it stall and tried to save it. But with that, you're going to get all these fusels. And again, one key concept of sessionability is to get all the alcohol as low as possible on the threshold on the nose.
That's a great insight, and
you can tell I wasn't quite on that journey here. This is a bit more boozier.
But yeah, you got to be happy with that for a first batch attempt. Really, that's a good bit.
It's the first 7-year aged stout that I've had and probably ever will have. So
wow, that's an interesting point actually. How many?
Yeah, how many?
No,
I don't have any older than this actually.
My brain just froze for a minute. Then, not because I'm just drinking this, but yeah, I was just thinking.
While I was saying it, I was kind of like, "Am I going to get this out?"
But yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I mean, that's absolutely delicious.
Right.
I can't get over how well that's aged.
So I think we'll kind of wrap up because you're a busy man, Jordan. You've got meetings to go to and businesses to run and all that good
kegs
stuff.
to roll around to try and nitro up.
Yeah, exactly. Really appreciate you guys coming down. Thanks for sharing the love. Yeah.
Thank you,
man. Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay, so welcome back to Stoutzilla launch day. We've got 2 for 1 today. We're being joined by Brett, who is the marketing
social media manager, odd job man, bit of everything.
So we thought while you're around, we'd get you on and just talk a bit, because obviously this is a hugely hyped, and for a beer nerd, it's a date in the craft beer calendar.
An event beer.
Yeah, it's an event beer, and I think that's one thing which we personally, and I think a lot of people do, want to see more of. The industry needs more of, like your Stoutzillas and your putties. That's what we want more of. So how do you guys go about planning for Stoutzilla?
I mean, it kind of sells itself now. It's like you say, it's a yearly release. It's very well known. It's one of the only beers, I think, probably that was brewed in the shed and has continued to be brewed every year all the way through. And it's kind of, the artwork's remained pretty much the same, other than a bit of change of font or design or can size. So bottle shops, independents, pubs, they all are really keen to get on board with it. So Gemma and our sales team work closely with all of them to kind of map out, like trying to get it across the country at various places and have it all pouring on the same day. So, which is sometimes a bit of a logistical nightmare, trying to get everyone not to open the cases or the cans before the day, but making sure it's all there ahead of time. But I think it's all come together and works out quite nicely.
How many venues are on the launch list?
Oh, you're testing me now, but I think probably around sort of 50, 60.
Right.
I think a couple have snuck on that aren't on the list because I'd already
Is that
made
increased year on year? Or is that typically the
I think it was probably
amount?
around the same as last year, not give or take, but roughly about the same. And then last year we had a few of us go up to London to some venues, and a few people down here. Whereas this year we're kind of putting a lot of our focus and time into the taproom sort of launch events. I know that various venues are doing little things themselves, and we sent them like a little Stoutzilla gift pack, as it were, with some black balloons and a poster, beer mats, so they can kind of have all that stuff out when they're pouring the beers from the season. So
yeah, how important is your relationship with external venues, tap rooms, bottle shops, things like that?
Yeah, really important. I mean, from both a sales point of view and a marketing point of view, like something like this is great because we make them a folder of like digital, not only like physical assets, but digital assets. So we've made them, reels, videos, taken photos, etc. We send them that, and then they can. We don't sort of tell them how to use it, but just give it to them, and if they want to use it or post. And a beer like this, it works really well. Like we've had over this week, lots of people posting about it, promoting it in their venues, but equally that helps us promote the beer and the brand of Stoutzilla itself.
How many units are you selling roughly? I mean, are you keeping up with demand? Are you perhaps underbrewing?
With Stoutzilla, we've probably done about half, 3/4, I would say, of the standard Stoutzilla.
In pre-sales?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then the barrel age is gone. Like barrel age is completely sold out wholesale and now on our web shop. So barrel age, we might need to buy some more barrels for next year to keep up with the demand.
Well, you've only got a few here in your
That's quite
actual
funny.
brewery. Yeah.
Quite
So
funny, when we first arrived, Brett was showing us the fridges and said basically that there's this. I mean, how many cans would you say is in there?
I think that's 48, two cases.
48 cans of the barrel-aged Stoutzilla in there. And who's it, the head of sales?
Gemma,
wanted
yeah.
to basically take those and send them somewhere else.
Yeah, and we haven't even got, I don't even think I've got a can yet, so I might have to buy my own out of that fridge later on.
we have to get on that before you open because, we've tasted the barrel age and it's magnificent. And two, as you say, it's a commodity.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, we need to get on that. So.
And if these age anything like that 7-year-old one that we've just tried,
yeah,
it's like, wow, okay.
Yeah. And it's gone really well and it's tasting great. And interesting, I know you've already had the conversation about the can size, but had we have put that in 750ml bottles, there would have been even less of it to go around. So in a way, it's kind of hopefully benefited more people and got to more people because of that as well. So that's, I guess, one positive spin. I know there's, we've had some people sort of say why haven't you got the big bottles? Why is it not 440s? But it's kind of, different people, different tastes. Some people are happy with 330ml cans. Some people are unhappy they just want 440s. You can't please everyone.
Some people have, what was it, like 15 cans? So
some guy yesterday bought like 14 cans or something on the web shop, and yeah, that's probably a lesson for us to maybe cap how many cans. That's, I think, the only person who's done that. Most people have ordered, between 2 and 5, which is a healthy amount of barrel-aged beer, right? I mean,
yeah. I'd say so.
There's no rules.
No,
more the better,
no.
I think. As a social media manager, how important is engagement with your customers, with your suppliers, people like that?
Yeah.
How does that play into Unbarred as a business?
Yeah, loads. I mean, I really try and always comment, share anything that if a bottle shop shares that they've got our beers in, obviously share that so people can, get pushed towards their venue and support their venue and go buy from them, which obviously in turn benefits us as well. So yeah, we and I think doing that, you get that reciprocated. They then share your stuff or engage with you, which is obviously great. And I think it just supports the industry sort of in a full circle sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think from a personal note, really, we're sort of a fledgling YouTube channel, really, and we've only started properly within the last year or so. And getting into breweries and stuff has always been really difficult for us. That's been like the core challenge, especially decent breweries that some of the bigger ones, of which we definitely consider you one of the kind of upper echelons of it. But it's been so nice to actually, we've always kind of had this kind of mutual kind of, there's always been the channels open between the two, whether it's just liking posts on each other's posts or something. It's always felt like you guys, your interaction with, I suppose not just us, because I'm sure you do it to lots of other content creators as well, it's that means a lot to them as well, as much as,
Yeah, and also you guys coming down, having beers, doing this kind of stuff, it's also very beneficial for us, fun and great to meet new people, but also, like you say, it's making content for your channel, but it's also promoting
totally,
or any other brewery you go to, so it's again, it's that full circle thing, isn't it? It's great. It's kind of...
Just before we do wrap up with you, Just a question around your reach as a brewery around the UK. Now, I'm struggling in my head to think that you're not everywhere, because you seem to be like an integral part of my craft beer journey. Unbarred seems to always been there.
Yeah.
Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But you've always been there, not just with Stoutzilla, but with Juicy and all the other things you bring out on a monthly basis. Do you have reach everywhere in the UK, or is there areas which you haven't conquered yet that you're trying to get into, or are you not even bothered about that?
I think, I mean, if you ask sales guys, I'm sure they would be bothered about that.
It's a different question for sales people.
I think we reach a lot of, with our web shop, obviously, anyone can order anywhere they live in the UK, so that definitely covers a lot. But we are Scotland, Manchester. I think it goes up and down. Like sometimes we get some beers up to Manchester, and then we might not for a while.
Yeah.
But I think we're pretty happy with the kind of reach and spaces we're in. Like, obviously, it'd be great to have maybe, Juicy pouring on permanent lines at more bars and stuff like that. But I'm sure that will come in time. But
Yeah.
It feels like from what I see on socials and from what I know from sales, like we've got a nice kind of spread of areas and
It feels quite organic.
Yeah, I mean, we have our sales team as 2 people, so they're not out every day going up to Manchester or going up to Scotland, or we don't have anyone employed in certain areas. So it's all, some of it is word of mouth, obviously, or it's just, phone calls or people getting in touch with us. So it is fairly organic in that sense in terms of the way they sell. And hopefully bottle shops and stuff are seeing things like Stoutzilla and the launch of that, and maybe being like, oh, I hadn't necessarily heard of those guys. I didn't know they did that. And hopefully that will cause them to get interested and buy some of our beer maybe. So
Well, every year, I mean, unless things change in the future, but I mean, it's been every year for the last 7, so...
Yeah, I can't see it changing, so I think Stoutzilla will continue to return. Yeah.
Absolutely, so I guess that wraps it up. So thank you very much for joining us, guys. Hope you've enjoyed your Stoutzilla as well. I will let you crack on now, Brett.
Cheers.
So cheers. I'm going to drink yours.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
That's actually yours.
You fucking...